Okay, I'm gonna work out problem number 5 on the whiteboard review. And 5 is difficult only because there's a lot of radicals that are happening. So I'm gonna try to explain that the best that I can. So the first thing it asks us to do is find the center. And the center is going to be HK. And since this is really like x minus 0 squared, the center is going to be 0, 3, okay? So I'm probably going to draw a quick sketch of this. So 1, 2, 3, so the point 0, 3 is here. That's the center of the ellipse. Okay, the other thing to note is that the a squared is bigger than the b squared, so this is a horizontal ellipse. And just a quick note, maybe I'll put it down here, a squared is equal to 200, which means that a is equal to the square root of 200, but we know that that is the square root of 100 times the square root of 2, or a is 10 root 2. So that's an important thing to kind of work out ahead of time. Similarly, b squared is 110, so b is the square root of 110, which is the square root of, why can't I think? I think we can't simplify that, so never mind. Okay, so b is the square root of 110. So I know my a and b. The other thing I'm going to do is actually get c while I'm at it. And just remember the formula that c squared equals a squared minus b squared. And c is equal to the square root then of a squared minus b squared, plus or minus, of course. So c is going to be plus or minus the square root of 200 minus 110. This is going to be plus or minus the square root of 90, but just remember that that's going to simplify to the square root of 9 times the square root of 10. So c is equal to plus or minus 3 root 10. So you should have a, b, and c worked out because that'll help us find all the other answers. So we said that a was 10 root 2, b was the square root of 110, and that c was 3 root 10. Okay, now it's asking us for the vertices. So remember the vertices are on the major axis. This is going to be a horizontal ellipse. So what I need to do is from my center point, I need to go a distance of a, okay? So this point is 0, 3, but a is 10 root 2. So I need to go, I'm not going to draw this to scale, roughly 10 root 2 in this direction, right? So let's pretend that point's here. This point then would be over 10 root 2 up positive 3. So one of my vertices is here, and then I have to go the other way to get the other vertex. Remember, the vertex or vertices lie on the major axis. So I have to go this way, 10 root 2, but that's going to be negative. Whoops, you can't see that. Let me move this over. Negative 10 root 2 comma 3. Okay, so this is my major axis. My vertices are 10 root 2 comma 3, which I know is a weird answer, but that's technically right, and negative 10 root 2 comma 3. Okay. It also wants us to find the co-vertices. The co-vertices are going to be on the minor axis, and the co-vertices are going to be located b units from the center. So what I'm going to do from my point 0, 3 is I need to go up the square root of 110, if that makes sense. So this point then is going to be 0, comma 3 plus the square root of 110. Why? Because I'm already up 3 units, I just have to go another square root of 10. So one of my co-vertices is 0, 3 plus the square root of 110, but then I gotta find the other one, right? And so what I need to do from here, from this y value of 3, as in I need to go down the square root of 10. So who knows where that is, but it's like down here somewhere, right? So this point now is going to be 0, comma 3 minus the square root of 110. And you're going to actually leave your answer in this radical form. So 0, 3 minus the square root of 110. Okay, so you're basically adding and subtracting these A and B values from those center points. And if you wanted to connect the dots, this would make a nice ellipse, okay? And then the other thing it asks us for is the foci, or the focal points. And the focal points are always going to start from the center and be a distance of c units away. So one of the focal points is here. So how do I get there? I'm going to go a distance of c units. I'm going to go a distance of 3 root 10. So you can see I'm at 3 root 10 comma 3 because I started on my x value of 0. So one of the focal points is going to be 3 root 10 comma 3, right? But then I have to go this way. I have to go negative 3 root 10. But I'm still at a height of 3. So the other focal point is negative 3 root 10 comma 3. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. The key is, again, finding your A, B, and C, doing simplest radical form, and just doing everything from the center point. The only other thing it's asking us, I believe, is for the major axis. And so the major axis is going to be the length from vertex to vertex. So I can think about the following, right? If I know that my A value is 10 root 2, that means this distance here is 10 root 2, but so is this distance. That's also 10 root 2. So 10 root 2 plus another 10 root 2, there's 20 root 2's altogether. It's like combining like terms. So this 20 root 2 is the length of my major axis, and I'm getting that using my A value. The minor axis is going to use your B value, right? So the minor axis is how long is this distance here? Well, if this distance from the center to the co-vertex is the square root of 10, and the square root of 110, and this distance is also the square root of 110, there's 2 square roots of 110, which means 2 square root of 110 is the length of the minor axis. So that's a little tricky only because this problem involves a lot of simplified radicals, but I hope this video helped to explain it a little better. As always, please let me know if you have any more questions.